Howdy folks, Brother Jim reporting here once again. Boom, President Trump defends Judge Jeanine Pirro, tells Fox News to bring her back. Following the controversy over her remarks about Muslim Representative Ilhan Omar, a Democrat of Minnesota, I think that's Montana. No, Minnesota. The Fox News channel has abruptly canceled Saturday night's scheduled airing of The Justice with Judge Jeanine Pirro, show that regularly airs at 9 p.m. on Saturday, according to a report by Variety. The sudden cancellation came a day after a terror attack on two New Zealand mosques by a white eco-nationalist killed 50 Muslims and wounded dozens more. On Sunday morning, President Trump weighed in on the controversy and urged Fox News to bring back Judge Jeanine. He was not an eco-nationalist. He was a Marxist communist who loved China. President Trump, bring back Judge Jeanine Pirro. The radical left Democrats, working closely with their beloved partner, the fake news media, is using every trick in the book to silence a majority of our country. They have all-out campaigns against Fox News hosts who are doing too well. Fox must stay strong and fight back with vigor. Stop working so hard on being politically correct, which will only bring you down, and continue to fight for our country. The losers all want what you have. Don't give it to them. Be strong and prosper. Be weak and die. Stay true to the people that got you there. Keep fighting for Tucker and fight hard for Judge Jeanine. Your competitors are jealous. They all want what you've got, number one. Don't hand it to them on a silver platter. They can't beat you. You can only beat yourselves. Very true. And you know, when I left YouTube, that's what I did. I let them beat me. But no, I'm back to fight. And no, I'm not making much money doing it. But you know what? As a Christian soldier, I get right back up and fight. A new low. Huffington Compost pile compares Christchurch socialist pro-Chi-Com terrorists to Republicans in Congress. Democrats cheer, of course. Well, what would you do? Of course you're going to cheer for your fake news. Huffington Post writer Matt Fuller is attempting to connect the Christchurch terror attack to Republicans in U.S. Congress. We knew this was going to happen, right? The American left knows no bottom. They go below bottom. They go below hell. There are two members of Congress who share a lot of rhetoric with the New Zealand shooter, the Huffington Post says. When I read the New Zealand shooter's manifesto, what struck me most were the similarities between his writings and some of the things I hear from members of Congress on immigration. Wait a minute, let me get this straight. The Huffington Compost pile can discuss the shooter's manifesto, but conservatives can't. Right, you got it. Don't let any truth out. Just twist it and make it your way only, and shut us all up. His views and rhetoric have an eerie resemblance to some of the things two particular Republicans, Steve King of Iowa and Louis Gohmert of Texas, say about immigration, and that's worth discussing. He goes on, Gohmert and King have denounced the shooting, and there is no reason to doubt they genuinely are saddened by this massacre. Still, it's fair to evaluate how dehumanizing rhetoric has real impact in the ways people think about immigrants, particularly in light of this horrendous attack. Every immigrant is to be judged by their own works and what they do, fool. Not all immigrants are the same, and especially illegal immigrants versus immigrants. The New Zealand killer described himself as an eco-fascist by nature and a supporter of British fascist Sir Oswald Mosley. The killer praises China as the nation with the closest political and social values to his own. Never mind that the scandals surrounding dehumanizing language and actions in the U.S. Congress are coming exclusively from radical Democrats like Ilhan Omar. Matt Fuller believes it's fair to link Republicans to a terror attack committed by a foreigner on a foreign land involving exactly 0 Americans. Somehow their rhetoric on immigration is fair game to discuss, but we can't discuss it. Sorry, we do it anyway. Where he was radicalized from the libtard Karen Dalton Beninato. And crab diving podcasts. That terrorist manifesto probably reads like Steve King's diary. And dude is in our house. Another nutball from hell, Bill Auclair, says when the murderous manifesto of a New Zealand terrorist sounds uncannily like that currently being voiced by certain members of Congress, it's time to elect a new leadership that champions the rights and freedoms of all peoples. Tell me, what in that manifesto was anything like Stephen King or Louis Gohmert? Oh, I don't know, but I thought I would say that anyway. At least one guy gets it. Peen Supreme says, I wonder why people trust the media less and less. And moving on, new information ties the phony anti-Trump Russia dossier to DNC billionaire and far-left donor George Soros. That's right. The secrets to the deep state coup to prevent Donald Trump from winning the 2016 election and then to overthrow his government are slowly being revealed. To no one's surprise, the plot leads back to the DNC billionaire donor and anti-American activist George Soros. George Soros was interviewed years ago on CBS's 60 Minutes, where he admitted helping Nazis during World War II steal from Jews during the war. Soros is Jewish. He was not even apologetic. You know what cracks me up is these people that use that Donald Trump or Christians or Jews are like Revelation chapter 2 verse 9, as it says, I know the blasphemy of them that which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. And then again in Revelation 3:9 it says, Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Speaking of the church of Philadelphia, which is the one that he loves. But they try to say the Jews in Israel are these people. No, it says, but do lie, behold, and are not the Jews. But you know what I think? I think this man right here, George Soros, is one of them. He is a liar. He's not really a Jew. I don't believe so. And DC Leaks released information that reveals Soros-funded Black Lives Matter protests across the country. George Soros was connected to every major protest after the election, and many, if not all, leading up to the election, including Black Lives Matter. And now we know that the beginnings of the fake anti-Trump Russia dossier leads back to George Soros. You know, George Soros doesn't give a rat's about anyone's lives. There's only one thing he cares about: money. Why do you think he's one of the richest men in the world? Yesterday, OANN released video on the formation of the phony anti-Trump Russia dossier. They start with George Soros. I cannot play this because OAN will definitely give me a copyright strike. In the video, OAN discusses Andriy Telizhenko, who worked as a political officer in the Ukrainian embassy in Washington, D.C. in 2015 to 16. As we reported in December 2018 and was confirmed in the OAN video in early 2016, Telizhenko was approached by DNC operative Alexandra Chalupa. She is still working at the DNC. She wanted dirt on Trump and his campaign manager, Paul Manafort. The Ukrainian embassy in Washington, D.C. worked closely with DNC operative and Hillary supporter Alexandra Chalupa. Chalupa told Andriy she wanted Russian dirt on the Trump campaign. The Gateway pundit spoke with Telizhenko on the DNC Russiagate scandal. Andriy Telizhenko worked in Washington, D.C. at the Ukraine embassy in 2016. Now Andriy is a political consultant. It's Andriy, I believe. Andriy was approached by a DNC operative during the 2016 election, March through April of 2016. Alexander Chalupa was first brought to our attention by the excellent journalistic skills of both Cheryl Atkinson, Dan Bongino, and TGP sources. She was apparently hired by the DNC going as far back as 2013. According to Politico, shortly before the election, a daughter of Ukrainian immigrants who maintains strong ties to the Ukrainian American diaspora and the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine, Chalupa, a lawyer by training, in 2014 was doing pro bono work for another client interested in the Ukrainian crisis and began researching Manafort's roles in Yanukovych's rise, as well as his ties to the pro-Russian oligarchs who funded Yanukovych's political party. According to Politico, Chalupa claimed that in October of 2015, she began investigating Trump's ties to Russia. Why she began this investigation is completely unknown. The only thing of significance that had happened at this point was that Trump announced he was running for office. There was no apparent triggering event. Candidate Trump had very limited contact with Russia or Russia businessmen. Also, according to Politico, in January of 2016, Chalupa suddenly and out of the blue warned the DNC about Paul Manafort. Manafort's name hadn't even been mentioned at this point in time. Chalupa made a prediction that if Team Trump hired Paul Manafort, that it would be clear and convincing evidence that Trump had ties to Russia. Ooh. It seems that it was a setup, huh? Manafort worked with Hillary's campaign manager John Podesta and his brother Tony in the Ukraine. They worked to bring in U.S. politicians to meet with Ukrainian politicians. Hillary was one guest. Even former FBI head Robert Mueller got in on the act. Ooh, it's unknown how much money these individuals received for their visit to the Ukraine. Politico continues stating that the DNC had performed Trump-Russia research long before Chalupa came along, i.e. January 2016. A DNC official stressed that Chalupa was a consultant paid to do outreach for the party's political department, not a researcher. She undertook her investigations into Trump, Manafort, and Russia on her own, and the party did not incorporate her findings in its dossiers on the subjects, the official said, stressing that the DNC had been building robust research books on Trump and his ties to Russia long before Chalupa began sounding alarms. OANN recently reported that another Ukrainian is involved in the dossier. Vasily Filipchuk, who ran the organization labeled ICPS, is the latest Ukrainian official pinned to the junk dossier. ICPS stands for the International Center for Policy Studies, and it was founded by Open Society. Filipchuk helped write the phony Trump-Russia dossier. Now, Open Society is the well-known George Soros-funded organization that fronts as an entity that works to build vibrant and tolerant democracies whose governments are accountable and open to the participation of all people, end quote. In reality, it is a far-left organization that works against freedoms embedded in the U.S. Constitution and across Europe. Open Society and George Soros are behind the Trump-Russia sham. They illegally gathered lies made up by foreign nationals to take down candidate and then President Trump. They are directly linked to the ongoing coup against the President of the United States. This comes as no surprise to anyone who knows the real George Soros or has followed his work. Wow. Thank you for listening. Let me be serious with you. I would rather that you donate to my ministry directly. I cannot survive financially to keep this ministry and news service going without your help. And we all know their plans to shut me down again. But many of you would like to receive a gift or product as a token of my appreciation. And I don't blame you. Isn't it about time Uncle Sam started paying you instead of you paying him? It is about time. The federal government pays you your rent check. The government rents out thousands of buildings instead of buying them every year. This is all funded by the current $11.1 billion building fund in our budget. Get your free federal rent check today. Sign up with the Federal Millionaire information here down below. Become a shareholder to receive federal rent checks for life by making a one-time investment as a shareholder. An IRS ruling declares this to be totally legal. This is no joke, no scam, and been for many years. The longer your name is on the distribution list, the larger your federal rent check grows. As inflation rises along with real estate, the government pays you more every year. Starting out as little as $1,800 a month would be your rent check. Wouldn't that be nice to receive every month a rent check like that? The federal government continues to raise your income as inflation rises. This puts an end to retiring with a fixed income that leaves you going broke as you get older. This will put a major dent in those people who hate their home taxes going up every year, wouldn't it? And folks, the price for this valuable information will cost you only $39 a year or $79 for a 2-year membership. Sign up today.